So back in the day, like a year ago, the raw till 4 principle list used to have an explanation for most principles. They simplified the list, I guess because... I really don't know. Maybe because eventually it turned out that many of the explanations that they did give for some of the principles turned out to be, well, contradictory to what science says. And, yeah, pretty much science has debunked the diet anyway, so they decide to simplify the list and not give an explanation for many of the principles. But of course, if you would ask them, they would say, oh no, the diet is so successful, like we've seen, it's so incredibly successful that why give explanations? Just keep it simple. Why elaborate on anything, right? So right, for cooked dinner, eat potatoes, root veggies, rice, gluten-free pasta. So, yeah, nothing about beans, nothing about a source of protein, nothing about a source of fat. Right. Daily fat intake should be lower than 10%. What the fuck? Truth is that Harley and Freely specifically think that daily fat intake should actually be lower than 5%. Let's put that in perspective, shall we? So, I've picked out 4 foods: raw bananas, raw kale, cooked brown rice, and carrots, raw. So raw bananas are 93% carbs, 3% fat, 4% protein. So this is a good food for the raw till 4 diet. Now let's take a look at kale. Kale. Come on. 12% fat, 60% protein. So that pretty much contains too much fat and protein. Right, kale contains too much fat and protein. Brown rice cooked, 7% fat, 8% protein, so too much fat and too much protein. But of course you are going to eat more bananas to compensate for that, so alright. Raw carrots, 5% fat, 6% protein, so a little bit too much protein. Now, I could say that Freely and Durian Rider want to sell you a diet where it's forbidden to eat too much kale and brown rice, but of course that's not the case. But let's say, for example, that you would add 20 grams of nuts to your diet. And let's take, for example, Brazil nuts. That's 14 grams of fat. That's too much fat. That's too much added fat. That could seriously mess up the 19:5:5 ratio. That's too much fat. And wanna know what 20 grams of nuts looks like? Well, let's see. Right. Probably 2 more. Or 1 more. It's actually more than 20 grams. This is 20 grams. 21 grams of nuts. This is too much. This is not allowed on the raw till 4 diet. Do I really need to say anything about that? Do I really need to elaborate on that? I mean, the raw till 4 diet is really a fuck your gallbladder diet. But they have changed 5% to under 10%, which is still ridiculously low. There are actually people out there, I believe Durian Rider and Freely are among them, that believe that you should actually get less than 2.5% from your calories from daily fat. That means that a banana contains too much fat. Don't eat too much bananas or you're gonna get too much fat. Yeah, that should be your concern when you eat too much bananas. Getting too much fat in your diet. Like, what the fuck? Salt intake should be under 1 gram a day. Back in the day, it was eat less than 0.7 grams of salt. So that pretty much means that adding 5 grains of salt to your meal, that's too much salt. Are you starting to understand just how ridiculous this diet really is? Oh, but trust me, it's gonna get a lot worse. I will say this, 5 grains, I mean 5 big grains of salt. And what I will also say is that most people are better off by eating less salt. That's definitely a thing. Although we do know that some people have died from a lack of sodium. So that's also a thing. Eat whole unprocessed foods only. Yeah, right, like gluten-free pasta, right? Now I'm guessing that this is not like a mistake that they made. I'm guessing that they consider gluten-free pasta as a whole food. I don't know. But I guess that you can throw the whole foods thing right out of the window anyway, because Harley, Durian Rider, one of the founders of this diet, is notoriously known at the moment for drinking Sprite to excessive amounts. And longer than that, he has been known for eating pure white sugar. Because, you know, fruit doesn't cut it, right? You need to add pure white, organic, of course. It needs to be organic because, I don't know, if it's not organic, then the pure white sugar might be bad for your health. And yes, for the record, he basically does recommend all people to do this as well, and he's also saying that it will not have negative health consequences.